It is the first day of school, and for me, at least, and I want to throw up. I'm really discouraged because the first day that I graded, they didn't do too well, but now I'm moving on to like a few other students, and I'm like, oh my god, I taught you something. This is a good feeling, my friends. Happy Monday, and I guess as an intro, I should say hi. So I have been filming clips the last 3 weeks roughly, but they've been super inconsistent, and I didn't know where it was going. So we're starting fresh. I'm Anna. If you don't know me, I've had a YouTube channel for about a year, and I just started teaching 7th and 8th grade special ed about 3 weeks ago. Like, this is my third full week in now, and it is Monday. And I figured, let's start this off on a rough foot. Today was a pretty rough teacher day. Don't know if it's because we had 2 snow days last week and they're just out of the roll of school and it's Monday, or because we're close to spring break, or what it is, but it was like fighting them to do anything, and that's kind of what it's been like. It's just been a fight to get them to engage and participate and get things done. And this is my first year, but it's just been rough. So one of the comments that my students made was that I was giving them baby work, but the problem is that their reading level is on a 1st and 2nd grade level, and the guided reading books that we have are for 1st and 2nd graders. So I don't have any high interest low level books, and they're kind of hard to find for 8th and 7th graders. So struggling with guided reading. And a lot of the things that I'm doing were kind of based off of what the teacher was doing prior. So for example, with vocabulary, they are used to drawing a picture, writing a definition, writing a sentence. That's what they did in vocab. And I pretty much kept that because some of them struggle with writing complex sentences, so having that picture to help them define it just makes sense, from an educational standpoint. And it's baffling my mind because when I ask them to do the work, they can't complete it independently, but yet it's too easy. So I don't know if this is an avoidance kind of thing where it's they just don't want to do any work, and so they're gonna say it's baby work, or I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe it's the borders that I have on things. See, I come from early childhood background, and I am a big, I like making things look nice. So, for example, if I can find it. So, one of the things, one of the word problems that I made. So I give them multi-step word problems because it's on their state tests, and so I put borders around things. So I don't know if what they mean by baby work is the fact that my stuff has borders and it looks like what you would get in early childhood, and yet the task itself is multiplication. It is a multi-step multiplication problem that's a real world task. So I don't know if it's that, because most of the things I am implementing are things that were already implemented in the room. So I'm just very lost and confused on a Monday, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I just don't, I'm having one of those teacher moments where it's why? Why do I suck? Why do I suck? That's kind of what's running in my mind. It's why do I suck? Why can I get them to participate? Why can I get them to be engaged? And don't really know why, because it's I'll come up with hands-on things. I have this angle jigsaw puzzle where you're supposed to, you get an angle, you measure it with the protractor, then you match it with the degree, and then you state whether it's an acute or obtuse or right or straight, etc. And the reason why is because for their the gen ed math, it is going over angles and supplementary, adjacent, and complementary. And today when I went to introduce complementary and supplementary angles, they couldn't even remember what an angle was, so we had to backtrack. And I'm at a loss because they're on a level that isn't where their age is at, presumably, or where like they should be. And yet like the work that I can give them that is on their level is simpler. And I'm trying to make it engaging, and I'm trying to make it so it doesn't feel like baby work. So like, okay, so we're struggling with angles. So I wrote their name. I wrote their names on a piece of paper, and now they are like measuring the angles on their name. I don't know about you, but I feel like that's engaging. I feel like that's a fun way to measure angles around letters. But like, I don't know. I'm struggling, guys. This is like, it's just blowing my mind, like how hard it is to engage them. Like, it shouldn't be. And the only thing that they really like to do is go on the Chromebooks, which makes sense. So I keep trying to do things that involve the Chromebooks. But there's only so much you can do, like, without, like, I'm tired, my head hurts, I'm stressed. Welcome to teaching. That's been my Monday. Not to start it on a negative foot. I mean, it could just be a bad day. It could just be a bad day, and tomorrow they can come in and love everything I'm doing. I don't know. All right. Good morning, friends. It is now Tuesday. The bags under my eyes are so real. It is Tuesday morning. It just turned 7, and I just got to school, and tomorrow I'm not in. So today I am like hoping I can finish my sub plans and print out what I have to print out for them tomorrow. And basically today is a brand new day, brand new slate, and that's how I'm going to approach it. That's how I normally approach most of my bad days, but it's just about adjusting and figuring out what it is, because it could just be that yesterday's work was hard and they didn't want to do it, and they don't like being forced to do things that they don't want to do. That's something that I've noticed with this class. So it's just about making things more digestible, I think. So I'm really going to be focusing on like what works for them. I'm here for the next 3 months. I know I'm not going to move mountains in that time, but I'd like to get them to a place where they can participate in class, because a lot of them are going to high school, and like this is where it starts mattering if they want to go to college, and if they want to go on further in school. They have to learn how to be active participants in class, and to be able to think for themselves, by themselves, for the most part. Today I'm having someone come in first period or second period, because first period is usually filled by morning meeting. So second period, they're coming in, they're teaching like the intervention program the way it's supposed to be taught, because I haven't been trained in it. So that's going down. And then third period, we're gonna go into literacy stations, because I haven't been working. I've been like trying to get a feel of where everyone is for guided reading, and our guided reading books suck. Like, I'm not gonna lie, they suck. They're really low interest. My kids like don't want to be reading about colors. Like, it's just not so, like, they're not excited to read the books. It's just like they read them and that's that. And it's like, I can't, like, how do you get them excited about reading about seasons? Like, they're in 7th and 8th grade. It's not where they are, which is frustrating. So guided reading has been a little slow, a little hard to like maneuver, but their intervention system is supposed to be working like to help build their literacy skills. So we're gonna figure out how to do guided reading a little bit more effectively. What time is it? 7:04. Okay, so literacy stations, then at math we're gonna go back into angles. It's been a fight, and part of me is like, should I just scrap this, because it's like you don't really touch geometry again in high school, like unless you take geometry, but you don't really touch it. So it's like, is it a necessary skill? Because I'm gonna tell you, I haven't measured with protractors since middle school, and I had to reteach myself how to do that again. So it's like, is it something that is practical? And I don't think it is. So part of me wants to scrap this and try and find another lesson that is more practical and can be like applied in day-to-day life. And that's why I've been focusing on real world statements for math stations and stuff. And it's like, I was falling into the trap of like trying to teach to the tests because they're getting tested, and it's not even for my, like, it's not even for me, like, it's not like for me to look effective, it's more so because I want them to do well. Like, it's more about them. But truth of the matter is, they haven't had a teacher for a month before me, and that month they like lost a lot of skill sets that they were working on. So I will pop back in a little bit. Alright, so it is the end of the day, and as you can tell, I am having a lot better of a time than I did yesterday. I'm currently prepping my room and everything that I need for tomorrow because I have a sub. I have a training tomorrow, so I won't be in all day. So what I'm doing, what I'm doing is leaving notes on their desk for them so that they have a little something for me to help them get through the morning and know that I am thinking of them, that I hope that they have a good day. I still have to write these 2 students a note, 3 students a note actually, these 3. And I have my sub plans over here, and I downloaded this free template from Teachers Pay Teachers. I don't have the store name off the top of my head, but I can list it down below. And it comes up with a whole bunch of different like templates for you to fill in. I did notes to the substitutes. I did that, did my class list, did my class behavior plan, and then I have my sub plans. And there's like an option to do like math plans, English plans, all of those separate. But I chose to kind of put them all in one because it's not really, I'm not having them teach anything. Honestly, I think it's silly to expect substitutes to teach anything. Like, no, I plan to use like days that I'm out as like review days. So that's what I have. And then I have the last page is just, hold on, this music distracting me. Alright, sorry about that. So then I have substitute notes to teachers because I want a review of the day, and hopefully they do that. If you're a substitute teacher, please do that for your teacher, even if they don't leave you like a notes page like that. Like, please leave a review of your day. So then I have all of the things that they're going to be doing in there, and then I have math here. So we worked for a fun Friday on Class Dojo. If we reach 100 points, I might up the points because they keep meeting it, and I'm not getting like certain behaviors that I want, like participation. So I might up that. But we worked towards a fun Friday, and I just implemented a weekly thing where if in a month we get to 500 points, so it's a little bit more than the 400. If in a month we get to 500, then they'll earn a pizza party. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working towards. And yeah, so now I'm trying to hurry up and get things done because I have to stop at Whole Foods so I can pick up, I don't know why, but I'm craving like a sandwich for tomorrow's thing, and I don't have any vegan cheese at home that's like sliced or anything, and I haven't tried any, so I'd like to do that and pick that up on the way home, and then I have to go pick up my mom. So I'm kind of trying to rush out of here a little bit. So luckily I'm pretty much all set. I just have to double check a couple things, leave lesson plans for my one student who works primarily with the one-to-one aid, and have some things for her to do tomorrow so she's not kind of like twiddling her thumbs. But other than that, that's about it. Happy Thursday. So we're gonna excuse the mess that I am right now. The sun also comes in through my window, so it's kind of gonna be annoying. But I got back and my substitute left me a note. There's a lot of interruptions yesterday, so they didn't get through a lot of the work that I left, which is totally fine. But I'm going through their one worksheet that I left on a cute, like they have to identify different angles. And at first I was getting like really discouraged because the first two that I graded, they didn't do too well. But now I'm moving on to like a few other students and I'm like, oh my god, I taught you something. This is a good feeling, my friends. This is a good feeling. So I'm excited to see them. I really missed them yesterday, which is like kind of sad, I guess, because it was literally a day. But I hate not being with them when I could be here getting something done. So I know today we have an assembly for the award ceremony, and I do have some kids who made honor roll and had perfect attendance, so we will be honoring them then. And today I want to do kind of touch base with them on yesterday's protest because I wasn't here, and we had the option to leave during the training, but it just, I'm going to the march on the 24th, so all in all, like, I would have liked to, but like it just didn't, it wasn't feasible with what I was doing yesterday, because we were taking a test to get the certificate in order to be trained in DLM testing. So long story short, I didn't get to do the protest yesterday. Fully support everyone who did participate, and I'm so glad that my students got to experience it yesterday. But I want to touch base with them on that and kind of explain things a little bit further, and that could be kind of our social studies lesson, because we won't get to it because of our assembly later today. So that's just this morning. I'm going to continue grading. I have a lot to kind of get done because I have a lot of IEP meetings coming up and eligibility things. So yeah, so it's going to be a busy next couple of days, especially because this weekend I have like plans to meet with people. So got to figure out how to prioritize everything, but I'm going to let you guys go, continue grading these so I can see if we can move on to the game that I wanted to play today. So fingers crossed that we get to. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Good afternoon. So it is the end of the day. I survived another day. There was a lot of interruptions today, like God, why can I remember? We had an assembly, and instead of having all the students go, which, you know, personally would make more sense to me, instead it was only the students who were being recognized got to go to the awards ceremony. However, that meant I was just left with like half of my class, and whenever that happens, I don't really like to do instruction because it normally has to be repeated quite a few times, and I just didn't want to delve into anything new and then have to, it didn't make sense to introduce anything new or really work on anything. But on top of that, the assembly was also during most of their scheduled speech time. So after the speech therapist pulled out those that needed services, I was left with 2 students. So what ended up happening was I put on a movie, I started working on IEP stuff. Actually, I started working on a journal for my one student because her IEP meeting is coming up on Monday, but I also have like an evaluation meeting coming up tomorrow, like pre-meeting. It's like the beginning steps. So I just need to have this IEP planner done for the most part with what I can fill out. So I have only been in the room for, this is my 3rd full week in now. And while I am getting to know them, just like in terms of like all of the skills, I am not fully like, not cognizant, but like it's hard to like fully be able to judge everyone because I've had such limited time with them. On top of it just being my 3rd weekend, we've had maybe 2 half days and then 2 snow days. 2 snow days, and on top of that, students are often absent in my room. I don't know why, but they are. So it's really hard to kind of know where everyone is and to get anything done because they're always getting pulled out for things. Which is probably just a special ed like problem in general. So anywho, working on this IEP planner, and that's like kind of my main focus today. I did grade, I mentioned earlier how I was grading their angle worksheets, and they did so well, so I was so glad that I was able to move on to complementary angles. And this game that I had, which I spent $250 on, they just were not getting, and it could be because like it is kind of confusing, like for my students at least, the answer is too close to like the next question. Like if there had been a space, it would have made more sense for them, and that's my fault for not like, it's my fault for not like realizing that upon printing it out. But on top of that, my students do struggle with reading, so like it takes them a while to get through things. And the who has the complementary angle, like they knew that the C word was complementary and the S word supplementary, but like it was a struggle and a half. So what I ended up doing was scrapping the idea of it being kind of like an interactive game, because while I would like them to be able to stand up and read the card, that's just not a possibility in my room with my students. For most of them to be able to fluently read it with ease and like fluency, like I said. So what I ended up doing was having them all with whiteboards, and I would read what is the complementary angle to 13 degrees? What is complementary? Is it when we add to 90 degrees or when two angles add up to 180 degrees? So then I would wait for them to respond, and like two students will respond, but whatever. We're working on participation. So then we would go, okay, 90. So now, is it easier to find the missing number by adding up to the 90 or 180, or is it easier to subtract? Most of the students would say subtract. So we would subtract the number that they're aiming for minus the number that we have, and then that's the missing angle. They're not fluent with that. It does take a lot of prompting and scaffolding to get them to that, and that's kind of like, that's where I know I'm going to be on this for maybe the next 3 days, especially because we have the weekend coming up, so they're gonna, everything's gonna like just be forgotten. So I anticipate being on supplementary complementary angles for the next like 2 days. I don't want to spend too much time on it, just because like even though it is on their test, like in reality, like are they going to use this on the daily? They're not. It's not that important. But it's more, for me, this is more about getting them to engage with things that isn't necessarily like interesting to them. And I've tried different ways to make it interesting, like I said, like this game, which was a fail, but with like this Twizzler angle maker that I did, where they had Twizzlers, they made different angles out of it, and it was like a hands-on way for them to work with building angles and starting to recognize like obtuse, right, straight, etc. So and they are pretty fluent with that now, identifying their, like maybe 3 students who are struggling, but those I anticipated it, and they're still working on like addition. So it's like, I'm okay with that. But like I said, it's more about them being able to focus on a task that is necessarily like interesting to them, because the reality is that everything in school, in the curriculum, is not going to be fun. It's going to be dry, and it's going to be something that we just have to kind of get through. And they have this thing where if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. And it kind of needs to be like nipped in the bud. And that's kind of what I've been doing with this angle stuff. It's like, sorry guys, like this is something that we kind of have to get through, and I'm trying to make it as fun as I can, but you have to be willing to participate in order for it to be fun and for it to be engaging. Like, you don't want to sit there staring at me lecturing the whole lesson, you know, that's not fun. What is fun is when we're all doing something together and playing these games and trying our best. And I also started this kind of, I think some people might kind of disagree with this kind of thing that I've implemented, but it works for my students. It worked today. Like, I got 10 times more engagement after I introduced this in the morning than I normally do, which is like mind-blowing. So I am bringing in something that they enjoy eating. So I brought in a Kit Kat today, a full-size Kit Kat bar. Tomorrow I'm bringing in Takis. They eat Takis like nobody's business. So I'm bringing in Takis tomorrow, and that's like their incentive goal. Whoever participates the most in class, I don't care if it's right, I don't care if it's wrong, I just want you to be engaged and trying and participating in the lesson. Like, I constantly stress, I don't care if it's wrong, I don't care if it's right. What I care about is that you're trying, that you're doing your best, that you're focused, that your attention is on what's going on in class and not drifting off and zoning out. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to stare at you guys while you drift off into space or talk with each other. Tomorrow's Takis, and I bring in a bag, and whoever participates the most, or I feel more out of character, like if this one student who doesn't raise their hand ever raises their hand 3 times, to me that trumps the kind of 10 times from my one friend who constantly raises her hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully that works. And it kind of did work today. Like, I got way more participation. Is it for the right reasons? I don't know. I could think that's up to you to decide. But I'm just happy to have them kind of focused and engaged, because it's not like, truthfully, it's not like I'm coming in and just lecturing the whole time. Like, I come up with these activities that are hands-on and are like the light just turned off, and like focused on them to engage with, but they just don't want to engage with it. Okay, so it is now officially 4:45 and I am in the car to go home. I did not finish the IEP, but I'm going to go home and finish it while I make my dinner and stuff, because I do want to make it to yoga. So that means taking it home. That's totally fine. And I'm bringing like a couple of things home so that tomorrow I don't have to take them with me, because, let me turn on the radio, because tomorrow is happy hour. So, yeah, so I will be leaving early tomorrow, and that just means that I have to take some things home today. I still have to find string, because I want to do the phone cup thing to do an energy, like we're learning about energy and sound energy and how it's a transfer between, and we're doing that, and I want to do sun tea, so I have to double check on some allergies, but other than that, that's it for today. My mind's kind of all over the place because I am thinking about 5 different things that I have to get done. I also need to work on math modifications for our park Thursdays, which I completely forgot about, so that needs to get done, but no one else has done it, so I feel less bad about not completing it, because I spoke to all the SPED teachers and none of us got it done, so I'm not alone there. Alright, let me get out of here so I can get home, eat some dinner, finish this IEP planner, and then go to yoga. I'm so excited because I have a new mat, and it's small things, guys. It is small things. It is also Thursday, which means tomorrow is Friday, which means that I have the weekend to just get stuff done. But I also have so much like going on like socially, because I also need to like be a human and meet with people. So fingers crossed that I can balance it all out and not kind of lose sleep over it. That's the hope, aim, goal. So yes, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good afternoon. I'm in the middle of eating lunch. So today's actually been going really well. My students were totally engaged. It was a struggle in the morning, it normally is, but during math and stations, they worked really well. News ELA we did something in News ELA and Google Classroom, which I just learned how to use, and that was a struggle bus, but that was my fault, not theirs, so totally get it. But they did their intervention system. We got through complementary supplementary angles, and they are starting to fully understand how to solve. Some of my students struggle with carrying over, so like certain angle measurements were kind of hard for them to do independently, but we're also working on that. So that's really great, and we got through our literacy stations, so I'm super proud of them. They've been working so hard today. They totally earned their Fun Friday, so that's what's going down after lunch. Pick them up. They usually have a 5-minute head down, cool down, and that's just like for us to regroup. We're ready for the afternoon. Then we're gonna go into Dear, where I read aloud to them, and then then it's gonna be Fun Friday. I'm sorry. Then it's science. It's science, and I'm basically just I feel like I have food in my teeth. Sorry guys, it's so gross. Anyway, we're going into science. I'm going to introduce the experiment that we're doing on Monday, which is the cut phones, which I've been talking about for like weeks, and like it's so hard to cram everything in. So we're doing that on Monday, introducing it so that on Monday we're ready to go and get started, and it's not like I'm introducing it and we're doing the experiment, because we won't have enough time for that. So that's what's going on. And then it's Fun Friday, and then I have the IEP meeting I was talking about during my prep. So I'm just super pumped, and it's Friday, which, you know, is always a good thing, because it means that I have time now to sleep in tomorrow. I'm so pumped. Alright, so I'll check in with you guys later. Hey guys, so you probably have no idea where this is. Well, unless you follow my YouTube channel before I started vlogging in the classroom. This is my little office space, my room. But I wanted to pop in and say that I didn't get to vlog yesterday afternoon because I had an IEP meeting like I mentioned, and it ran a little long, and I had to rush down to go meet my friends because there was happy hour for St. Patrick's Day with amongst the staff. So yeah, so it was kind of rush, and then I was out getting to know new teachers that I haven't met yet. Even though I've been in the school for 3 weeks, I kind of stick to the third floor. So it's hard to kind of meet and branch out and get to know other teachers. So I got to do that yesterday. The afternoon was really rough. Like, I just had problem after problem. Students were leaving the room. There were arguments going on all at the same time. Like, students are crying, and I'm worried about one student who left, so I have to go down to the office. It was just a hot dang mess of mayhem. Needless to say, Fun Friday did not go down. We had a talk, a sit down, a cool down, a release, and I kind of gave them an assignment to like reflect and say like, what will we do better next week? How can we be better students? And just like to sit and reflect and sit in it, you know? So that's what happened Friday afternoon. Then I had the IEP meeting, and then, like I said, I kind of dipped and just went straight to happy hour, and it was fun, and it's nice to be able to do that. Right now, I'm just working on lesson plans, my math lesson plans for not 2 weeks, but in 3 weeks, because we have spring break coming up, so we have to turn in 2 weeks worth of lesson plans. So long story short, I need to plan for April, the first week of April, and that's what I'm doing now before I head out to go meet a friend in the city, aka New York. So so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to try and get better at just vlogging in general throughout the week. It's actually super tough to just get everything in and make sure that I'm doing my job as a teacher first, and then, you know, vlogging. So there are times where I'm just in the thick of things and I don't have time to pick up my phone or camera or whatever and sit down and vlog. There are teachers who will vlog while they are doing instruction. Because I am in special ed, I just feel a little more cautious about doing anything like that. So I typically won't be filming any instruction that I have. Like, I'm fairly certain I won't ever do that in my room, but or film my students. I just don't feel comfortable with that personally. Even if they have a signed media release form, like, I don't know, maybe next year, but as of right now, you guys, it's just kind of gonna be me filling in the gaps for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this week in the life of a teacher type of vlog. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Press the subscription button down below. I definitely will be doing more. I don't know how regular these will be, especially because spring break is coming up, so like I can film next week, but then the following week, like, there wouldn't be anything because I'm on spring break. So we'll see. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.